the kitchen revolution in bread making. I'm here, as usual, with our chef, Paolo Pettenuzzo. Hello, Chef Paolo. Waiting for Chef Paolo to join us. He's here.
Hi, everybody. How's it going?
Hello, thank you. Thank you for putting together for us another episode, the kitchen revolution in bread making.
Yes, I'm super happy to be in here. Today is going to be a really interesting thing because we are going to talk about bread making, and we are going to mix the topic together with the, let's say, possibility of produce, of storing bread, and of maintaining quality for a longer time together with technology. As we all know, technology is a wonderful best friend of all the chefs, and if it is correctly used, it can be really, really profitable.
I have a question before we jump to this amazing webinar you have put together. I've checked before. It's like where I live in France, bread it's important in the food culture. Same as in the country where I was born, Albania. Bread is always in our tables and it's important.
Yeah.
But my curiosity is why you chose this specific ingredient. Like, what is the philosophy behind it for you personally?
So I would say, first of all, I'm a big fan of bread in general. As an Italian and as like a food lover, bread is really an interesting topic and is always good in the sense that there is no time to have it. Possibly with a nice slice of bread, you could cover the whole day, including the night too. Secondary, when we go to a restaurant, high level, mid level, whatever it is, bread is the first signal after the welcome of a possible good or non-good experience. Basically, when we sit down, we have a nice feeling of the dining room, and at the same time, we have, let's say, a nice feeling also with the waiter and the welcoming in general. After that, what we do is we have a quick look on the menu, we do the order, and all of a sudden the bread comes. Most of the time when the bread is good, I would say that the journey is going to be good. So the bread is actually one of the most important things. But still now, many people, even if we know that to make, let's say, regular bread, not special things, but regular preparation, for a lot of people is still really, really challenging because of absence of the right technology in cooking or also in making bread. So bread makers, in this case, planetary mixers, non-knowledge in proofing, and of course, not enough knowledge in baking. But actually, with the right technology, a good recipe, and a bit of techniques, it's quite easy to obtain a really, really good bread without getting into trouble. So I wanted to give you the flavor of bread making made in a super easy way, and at the same time, possibly to be consistent every single day. So something that is look-wise, that looks like a bit difficult, but actually is much, much easier than how it looks.
Amazing. Okay, guys, prepare to upscale your restaurants today because from the moment you start making better bread, that's a sign. That's a sign. Okay, are we ready?
And let's see if in the future we can do some more about it. Also because bread making and all the proof stuff is something that I really love. As you know, we are close to a very important period of the year in Italy, and I just started doing my first panettone. So, you know, in here we are managing also some nice leavened dough using the same technology that you're going to look and see during the next 40 minutes.
Amazing. I wish we get to taste that panettone, but we take your word for it. It's gonna be amazing. It's being cooked by you.
Hope so, because it's a 3 days preparation. So until the real end, you don't know what's going on.
Okay. Okay, do we start? I'm curious. So we're gonna play the video, and 40 minutes from now, we're gonna discuss with you. I invite everyone to ask their questions, put them in question and answer, and in the end, we're gonna do an amazing discussion together. keep notes, here it is.
Ciao and welcome back into my kitchen. My name is Paolo Pettenuzzo and today's topic is gonna be kitchen revolution in bread making. In front of myself, a quick but really nice and interesting selection of bread. Of course, when we talk about bread, there are so many topics and things around it. But today we are going to deep dive into three main areas of work. Number one, appliances needed for the making of our bread. Number two, pre-production and storage. Why storage? Later on we will discover the whole thing behind preparing in advance our bread and after that keeping it in the fridge or in a freezer for a longer period of time and have it ready for the time we need. Number three, proofing and baking all in once throughout technology from Electrolux Professional. In this case, we talk about Skyline Premium S, our oven, Skyline Chill S, our blast chiller, and of course, Sky Duo, the connection in between the two appliances that make possible the whole story of proving and baking super easy. First of all, bread. When we talk about bread, we talk about mainly four ingredients. These four ingredients are for sure flour, water, yeast, and salt. In this case, what's important over the recipe itself and the selection of the single ingredient is the way we do it. The way we do it means not only the steps, what's first and what's second and so on, but of course the appliance. Behind myself, I have a BE8 model. That means 8 liters bowl. I'm going to do today for you a traditional, homemade Italian style bread focaccia. For what regards bread focaccia, what's important when we talk about the planetary mixers and the accessories is power of the appliance, the hook, that in this case deserves a quick explanation, and of course, the time. When we talk about the technology, we need an appliance that is strong, resistant, and at the same time powerful. When we talk about the hook, of course, we need a hook that is able to guarantee the dough to remain on the bottom part of the surface, in this case of our bowl. Majority of the time when you see smaller stand mixers, you have the issue, the main problem of, as soon as the dough is done, to have it lifting up against the base, so the attachment of the bowl. And this is a huge issue. Why? Because as soon as you turn your hook, actually the dough is not incorporating and working well. In this case, together with Electrolux Professional and together with our stand mixer, with our planetary mixers, we are able to guarantee all time long, for what regards focaccia, in between 15 and 20 minutes, the availability, so we are able to guarantee the dough to remain in the right location, in the right position, so on the bottom of our bowl, and incorporate all the ingredients perfectly well. What we have to keep in mind is right ingredients, right amount, right temperatures, and of course, a great appliance. Let's go close to the unit and let's see how easy it is to set our bread focaccia. First of all, ingredients. In this case, for a GN tray, so a regular restaurant tray, I would need 500 grams, so half a liter of super cold water. In this case, I have added just 30 grams of honey.
You can add, if you want, some malts or some regular sugar. My favorite ingredients in between the three is honey. Together with that, 15 grams of fresh yeast. In this case, you can also use dry yeast. When you choose the dry yeast instead of the fresh one, you need to divide by 3. So in this case, 15 grams of fresh yeast or 5 grams of dried one. Number 3, flour, 750 grams. I have chosen to go for 50% semolina flour and 50% Manitoba flour. So Manitoba flour means American flour, strong one. All in. Close the lid and start. Gently for the first 30 seconds, and after that, medium velocity, so medium speed. After 15 to 16 minutes, as soon as the dough will be perfectly incorporated and silky smooth, I will add salt, whatever I want in the sense of special ingredients. In this case, I will add some cocoa powder and olive oil. That makes the whole journey of Italian focaccia a super, super nice thing. In the meantime, we are waiting for the first part of our focaccia making, so the first 15 minutes. And after that, we will add our salt and the other ingredients inside the dough. I would like to spend a minute talking about the process, so the procedure of the production and the topic I was mentioning before, so the pre-production and storage. In here, in front of myself, as I said, I have a mixed selection of bread. Specifically, in front, I have what's first, what's in the middle, and what at the end. What does it mean? As we all know, bread making can be done à la minute, and it takes in between 2, 3, 4 hours according to the type of bread we prepare. But it can be done also up front. So the pre-production is a super clever way to produce, to prepare in advance, maybe one time for 5, 6, 7 days. And as soon as we need the right amount of products, we just take it out from the fridge or the freezer and we proof and bake. In this case, what I've done and what I have prepared for you today is a simple example of how I do single portion pain brioche. I have pre-prepared more or less 15 days ago these 50 grams tiny ball. In this case, it is frozen. Yeah, I have stored in the freezer into a vacuum bag. And this morning, from frozen, I have put some of this ball into our blast chiller to proof. So I actually started 15 days ago, and throughout the quality and the correct way of storing our bread, I have kept the bread itself in the best condition ever, as if I would have had prepared today, this morning, an hour ago. How does it take and what does it mean pre-production and what are the benefits? First of all, producing in advance means that I can prepare a product in big batches, one time for multiple different moments, and at the same time save time and save energy. Because if I have a big, massive stand mixer, planetary mixer, I can pre-prepare many different batches at the same time, and of course to save it for later. Number 2, thanks to the technology, I have the opportunity to perfectly keep all the ingredients, but first of all the yeast, in great condition, ready to be used whenever I need, so in a second time, without getting in trouble with losing quality and of course, beauty of the bread itself during the proofing and the baking. Number 3, throughout the cold, so in this case the blast chiller that is blast freezing our dough before the actual proofing, and throughout the storage, so our freezers that are going to keep our product in safe in a wonderful and standardized temperature, I can of course create that famous thing that I usually recall as consistency effect. So the famous copy and paste result. And this is a wonderful topic when we talk about pre-production and storage. So what can we do in advance and how can we manage it? For what regards the recipe, nothing changes. We prepare the same recipe in the same way. For what regards the quantities and the way we produce our bread, nothing changes. Simply, at the end of the production in our stand mixers or planetary mixer, we just create our bowl, we create our doughs, and after that, automatically, we go into the blast chiller and we blast freeze. Our blast chiller, Skyline Chill S, is able to guarantee what? Not only the procedure in between fresh to frozen, but also the next one, that is the defrosting procedure. So we can use our blast chiller not only to freeze or to fridge, but also to defrost, what we call thawing process. In this case, yesterday evening, I took some of these bowls, I put them on a tray, a U-Pan 20mm tray, and I said to the blast chiller, tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, I want to have them ready, defrosted and partially proofed. And today, simply with a proof and bake cycle that I will discover together with you in the next few seconds, I will have my bread, so in this case, my pain brioche, ready and beautifully done as if I had prepared it this morning. Let's go and let's see how is my focaccia. The 15 minutes are over and right now I'm ready to go with salt, cocoa powder, as I said before, and our extra virgin olive oil. An important thing at this point, since I have added the extra virgin olive oil all in once, don't get too much pressure in the dough. What does it mean? Start super slowly, and as soon as the different ingredients incorporate, go a bit more to level 3, level 4, so mid-speed. I would love you to smell this amazing flavor. The mix in between dark cocoa powder and extra virgin olive oil is so great. So 3 minutes more, and after that we are ready to lay the dough down in our tray. In the meantime we are waiting, I would like to showcase you another 2 things that I have pre-prepared before this moment. So number 1, the oven. Since yesterday evening, I have launched a dehydration cycle. The dehydration cycle is strictly connected to a topic that is quite interesting and important during this latest moment. That is the topic related to the zero waste. So, saving as much as possible wastage and give a second life to products that usually are supposed to go in the bin. So in this case, a mix and match of 2 different things. Number 1, flavored salt. In here I have some rocket salt mixed with some leftover fresh herbs. As we all know, the majority of the time in restaurants, fresh herbs comes in the kitchen at the beginning of the week. During the week, they start to dehydrate, to ruin a bit, and automatically by the end of the week, if they are not used, they are supposed a lot of time to go in the bin. In this case, instead of doing this thing, I have just mixed these ingredients together, used the oven in a special cycle called dehydration, and I have recreated this great effect together with a blender. An overnight procedure to dry perfectly well our herbs and our perfumes to get this beautiful flavored salt. In this case, I use this salt to season on top my focaccia, but it can be used for many other purposes. For example, for fish, for meat, for preparing your vegetables, and much, much more. Close by. Skins. I have some eggplant skins, focaccia, I can do a pumpkin bread, as actually I have prepared today for you. In here, a great example. This is a 85% water, so 85% humidity focaccia made of pumpkin leftovers, so the pumpkin skin that has been dried out, blend and put inside the dough, some rosemary, a bit of salted nuts, and some blue cheese. These ingredients are just an example of what you can do. In the meantime, you are preparing your bread dough, and in the meantime, the oven is not running for other purposes. Second one. Bread. I have prepared many different things for you today that are going to be cooked simultaneously later on with our oven. In specific, a big 1.2 kilogram loaf, multigrain flour, 90% humidity. This is just like a cloud. Super fluffy, very nice and massive. This would be great for a big table or a big presentation for feeding many people. Our pan brioche in single portions that can be used as a dessert together with some cream or as a great accompaniment for some starters. In Italy, we love to mix it with mushrooms and some lardo, some lards. And in here, a pan brioche made in different bowls together in a box that I can later on slice down. Before cooking it, I will mix just a bit of salted butter where I have added some smoked salt before melting it down. And of course, our cocoa bread that is in the meantime ready to be mixed. So, just a bit of olive oil in our tabletop. This olive oil goes also in my hands. And I stick it out from my bowl. And here we have the dough. The bowl, as you have noticed, was perfectly clean. And the dough is amazing. Super silky, smooth, and very elastic. Right now, I am using my hands just to give some extra mix. I am folding it a bit more just to create a bit of extra resistance from the flour. These focaccia can be served with some butter on top, with some salt. It can be mixed together with some olive oil and some herbs, or, as I really love, it can be filled with some nuts, some almonds, some hazelnuts, and much more to be accompanied as a special bread. And again, all of these preparation can be pre-prepared in advance throughout our blast chiller. They can be chilled down, so freeze down and stored in our freezer for a second moment. And whenever we are ready, together with our Skyline range, we can proof and bake them as if they were freshly prepared. In here, as I said, I have a specific tray. In this case, a U-Pen GN trays H40, so 40 millimeters height. The U-Pen trays are special accessories that are as much as important as the oven. What does it mean? We have a specific aluminum non-stick coated tray that guarantees the same temperature of the cavity in less than 90 seconds. That, as I just said, is 100% non-stick. So together with it, you can avoid any parchment paper, butter or oil spray and so on, and automatically it can be washed super easily. Of course, you need to take care of it without scratching it with knives or stainless steel spatulas, but it makes sense and it's worth it. I'm just adding some olive oil, not because of the stick of the whole item, so the bread on top of the tray, but simply because we talk about focaccia. So focaccia needs to be a bit, let's say, fat on the bottom and on the top. So it's just a bit on the base. I take it and I lay it down, and I use the same olive oil just to stretch it with my hands. I do not need to do it too much, just the amount, the dough itself, let me work with it. After that, as soon as I achieve, let's say, the maximum stretch the dough gives me the chance to achieve, I'm gonna quickly wash my hands and move close by to the blast chiller for the proofing time. Here we are. As I said, Skyline range. So Skyline Premium S, our top level oven, and Skyline Chill S, our blast chiller. As you can see, look-wise, they look really similar, apart from the glass, where in the oven you can easily see through, and the blast chiller with a full stainless steel door. These units are not only working in parallel or together according to mix and match of preparation, but actually they are connecting in between each other. What does it mean? We have recreated, together with the production and the creation of Skyline range, a wonderful feature that is called Sky Duo. So Sky Duo is the possibility to let the two appliances interact in between each other. A process can start in the oven and continue in our blast chiller. For example, if I prepare a lasagna and after that I want to chill it down for servicing in a second moment. Or it can start from the blast chiller and after that continue in the oven, as for example I'm going to do together with our bread focaccia today, starting with proofing and continuing with the baking. How does this thing work? As I said, throughout a quick check on our screen, I can see the green light on the Sky Duo button, and automatically I can see it also in the blast chiller. This means that these two appliances are perfectly connected. I am right now into the automatic ambient. So we can work in manual, we can work in automatic. In automatic means with a tons of different preset recipes that are partially open, so you can also change some specific settings directly out from the fabric, and of course some special cycles as the one that I'm gonna do today, right now with you. So from the automatic environments, I select Cycle Plus, that is a dedicated page where inside I can find proofing. When I'm going into the proofing cycle, because yes, as I said, the blast chiller is a machine that has been created many years ago to stop the cooking processes. But actually the range in temperature we can get together with it is from -40 degrees Celsius to plus 40 degrees Celsius. So we have a wide range of opportunities over than simply blast chilling or blast freezing super fast. In this case, I'm using the positive temperature to prove my bread. So I go to 32 degrees. This is my favorite temperature to prove really smooth, gently, but in a very precious and positive way my bread focaccia. And I'm choosing 1 hour and 30 minutes. As soon as I press the start button, Sky Duo functionality, so the Sky Duo function will tell me, hey, chef, hey, Paolo, I know that usually after a proving cycle, most of the time you go for the baking, right? And I have a full list of baking products, baking items pre-saved in my internal computer, in my internal mind. So what can I do? Would you like to select some of these? So I go down in between the list and I select focaccia. As soon as I select it, I just press the yes. Automatically, as you can notice, the focaccia is projected into the screen of my oven. What does it mean? Well, first of all, let me insert my focaccia and let me start the proofing. As I said, what does this mean? Number one, of course, I save time. I save time in the sense that I pre-select in one only touch panel the whole procedure of proofing and baking. Number two, I save energy. Why I save energy? How many times it happens that in a kitchen, a chef start a preheating section and all of a sudden, as soon as the oven is ready, the chef does not have actually the food ready to go inside the oven. And the oven is ready, perfectly preheated, but is also consuming energy. So it happens so many times that the oven is ready to bake, is ready to cook, but actually the food is not inside the oven. So it's energy that is consuming without actually having something inside to be baked or cooked. So together with Sky Duo, 5 minutes before the end of the first part of the whole process, the blast chiller will tell to the oven to preheat. This will guarantee, as soon as the proofing cycle will be ended, so over, to have the oven perfectly prepared and preheated to the right temperature, ready to take the focaccia and take over the final part of the process. Number three, consistency. Copy and paste result. How many times have we tried to do the proofing outside in a normal ambient, no? What happens? If it's winter, if it's summer, if there's a lot of humidity inside the kitchen, every single time you have a different proofing, a different way of your dough to raise up, and of course, a different final result. In this case, no matter what, where you are, what's the time, what's the temperature inside the ambient you are working, and what's the season, because of course in summer is a bit warmer, in winter is a bit colder, AC on or off, no matter what, together with this technology, you can guarantee a wonderful copy and paste result. And the consistency is not anymore a fast food topic. What does it mean? Usually when you think about consistency, you think about fast food, no? You go sometimes to eat something, a sandwich, some fries and so on, and you expect to have the same quality and the same standardized result every single time. But actually, the standardization of processes in the cooking, in the way we consume and save energy, and in the way we eat is a 360 journey where we expect whatever the food is, so a sandwich, a burger, a fries, but also a Michelin star plate, a pizza, main course, or much more, in this case a bread too, to have the same result, the same texture, the same moisture and the same color and caramelization and the same raising. So Sky Duo is a wonderful possibility for all of the chefs using it together with the Skyline range to guarantee quality, to guarantee texture, to guarantee copy and paste effect, so consistency, consuming just the amount of energy needed for it. Okay? So right now, let's wait for an hour and 26 minutes. Of course, we are going to accelerate the procedure of the proving, but in the meantime, we are able to press the postpone button in the oven and use the oven for other purposes. And in this case, I will cook already our rest of the preps that I have recently explained and showed you. And in the meantime, we are waiting for the proofing of our dark cocoa powder and olive oil Italian focaccia. And here we are, more or less 5 minutes before the end of the proving, ready to go in the oven for the baking. In front of myself, a few of the items that recently I have taken out from the blast chiller, improving, of course, and baked. And right now, if we get close to the blast chiller, we are 5 minutes and 5 seconds before the end. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, automatically 458, and in here the preheating. So without pressing any button, as I said before, 5 minutes before the end of the proving, automatically our blast chiller Skyline Chill S is going to say to the oven, please go in temperature because in 5 minutes I'm gonna be ready for the baking. So this, as I said, will eliminate completely energy consumption in the sense that over consumption of energy when it's not needed, and of course will bring the cooking process, in this case the baking of our bread, perfectly done in the right amount of time. Since the focaccia looks like almost done, I have enough time to pick up some of the ingredients that I'm gonna use for seasoning the top of my focaccia. In this case, a bit of extra virgin olive oil on top and some flavored salt that I have shown you before, that is containing rocket salt, sage, rosemary, thyme, juniper, and a bit of dark cocoa powder. So we are almost there, ready for the baking. And as you can notice, nice and fluffy, super beautifully proved. I'm going to add just some flavor salt that I've been talking to you a few seconds ago, just as a seasoning. And of course, a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. In these specific recipes, I'm not going to use my fingers to create those famous nice holes that you usually see in a focaccia. I will leave it as it is. So it will be much more flat and even raised. But of course, you can use your fingers. Please remember to pass your fingers in cold water before doing this typical and traditional focaccia movement, and after that, directly into the oven. The cooking is fully automatic. In this case, 20 minutes for a focaccia containing more or less 1.2 kilograms of total dough. During the next 20 minutes, our oven will take over the job of the cooking. No matter how much I'm going to add inside the cavity, so in this case, one tray versus a full load, automatically the oven throughout its internal system of detecting how much humidity our food is releasing, specifically the name is called lambda sensor, I will anyway obtain a great result. So no problem in the sense of what's the amount of load and how many trays you're going to put into your oven, because Electrolux Professional Skyline Premium S will take care of the whole process anyway. So let's wait for 20 minutes and let's see how the focaccia turns out. And here we are. Double advice from the oven to tell us that the baking is finished, one with the lightning system and the other one with the buzz. It can be brought from level 0 to level 10 according to how much power in the sense of volume you want to receive for being advised by the unit. And here you are the results. Right now, I would love to cut it straight away and to show you how it turned out. But I'm going to put it back into the blast chiller just to chill it down for a couple of minutes. This will give me the possibility to cut it much smoother and in a much more profitable way. So let's wait for a couple of minutes, and after that, of course, let's see how our focaccia turned out. In the meantime, we are waiting. I would like to give you a bit of a recap of what we have seen during this kitchen revolution in bread making. We have used, noticed, and we dig into the ambient of technology, talking about the right accessories for what regards the bread making, of course the oven and the blast chiller, the possibility of working in pre-production ways, so working in advance, maybe producing for more than one time in advance, and after that being able to guarantee a wonderful defrosting, thawing, proving and baking afterwards. And of course, the importance of Sky Duo when we talk about Skyline technology. So oven and blast chiller. Skyline Premium S, our top level oven, and Skyline Chill S, our blast chiller. Sky Duo gave us the possibility today to save time, to create consistency, and last but not least, to save energy. And this is just one of the hundreds of examples you can do and achieve and get benefits from it. So I think that 1 minute is more than enough just to chill down slightly the tray and the top level of our focaccia. And I'm going to take it off and cut it down for you. Still warm and super fluffy. As you can notice, the way and the easy I got out from the tray directly on top of my chopping board has been so nice. And this is given again from the accessories, so our U-pen trays. 100% non-stick, and for what regards the cooking process, look at this. Simply amazing. Let's see how it turned out. Whew. Great bubbling, soft, but at the same time crunchy, super moist, wonderful for a beautiful appetizer, accompanied with some cheese, or at the end of a meal together with something sweet. And with these super fluffy and moist dark cocoa Italian focaccia, I am finishing up with this kitchen revolution in bread making appointment. I hope you have enjoyed the time together, and as usual, thanks a lot for watching. Ciao!
So here we are.
How many questions today? Oh my gosh.
Wow, a lot of them. You already answered lots of the questions while doing the webinar. Otherwise, it would always been impossible to go back to everyone.
Yeah,
However,
I just I
Yes.
wrote, sorry to interrupt you. I wrote down some interesting point that we could anyway share together with all the participants. So, but first of all, I'm gonna follow you.
Actually,
What's
I did the same. I kept like 3 questions that were more intellectually interesting. So I'm letting you elaborate on your
okay?
and I'm sure it's gonna be the same.
So first of all, I wrote down some things.
Mhm.
I want to start from the fact of saying that these presentation where we prepare a dough and after that we blast freeze it and after that we defrost it and we prove and bake is just to show to all the participants that things like bread that usually are supposed to be prepared à la minute, so live the same day that you are serving them, can be challenging sometimes. So imagine in a kitchen, we have tons of different things to do during the day. And of course, bread making done à la minute, so like live every single day, can take a lot of time. So the fact of pre-preparing big batches, so big quantities that are not only necessary for the specific day, but for longer, gives you the possibility, in case you have the right technology, that means a bigger machine for making the dough and stuff like that, to pre-prepare in advance. So let's say the cold temperature of the blast chiller to blast freeze the dough and to take it out the day after or whenever you need is just to give the possibility to all the participants that you can think about preparing in advance also important things like bread. Of course, you need to take the let's say the focus on timings and temperatures. After that, important things. So first of all, I would like to share as in a message because I got like 25,000 messages related to these specific preparation. I know that focaccia is quite like trendy, so I wanna send it over in the chat just to be sure that everyone can save it. I want to let's say underline a couple of things. So if all the participants can see the recipes that I've written, I want to just explain a couple of things in a really few seconds. Number one, what do we mean for strong flour? Strong flour means a flour that is not for daily super soft purposes like biscuits, cakes, and so on, but a flour that is considered strong in the sense of W. So what does it mean? Where the power of stretching and incorporate humidity and get really intense in density is over 380. So strong flour means flour that is supposed to be used for bread making and long processes in the sense of maturation, fermentation, and so on. So if you have only whole purpose flour, it's not actually the best indicated item. After that, I use sugar or honey. In professional environment, we use malt because malt is much better. Malt is used opposite wise to honey or sugar, to create a sort of extra color, so the famous golden brown color, and to give that famous hint in between salty and sugar. So is a bit of a twist in the bread making. And of course, the sugar content helps the proving of the yeast and the proving of the bread dough. Last but not least, cold or hot water. So I'm going to destroy completely the imagination of the majority of the participants, but water must be cold, okay? Hot water is an old story that doesn't work for the majority of the time. Why? Because when we use hot water, we, let's say, accelerate the process of proving. So if we start proving at a temperature of 25 degrees, for example, and for 25 I mean Celsius, if we already add hot or warm water into the dough, after 2 to 3 minutes, in the meantime, I'm still doing my dough, I will obtain the temperature that is already good for proving. So the bread is actually proving already. In the meantime, is still kneading. So I prefer to use cold water to let the flour do its job, so to incorporate the dough and create the perfect dough, and obtain a final result of 25 degrees. So before the real starting of the proving. This will give the possibility to the dough to prove much, much better, to prove much, much correctly, and last but not least, to prove in a correct way. So please be sure, whatever temperature you use, to not go at the end of the kneading more than 25, 26 degrees. As we all know, the kneading in a planetary mixers is also heating up the dough. So if we start with a warm temperature or room temperature water, we risk to have it over, let's say, heated by the kneading of the machine. Last but not least, things like cocoa powder and some other ingredients. It depends. Cocoa powder, of course, in this case is more or less 50 grams per 2 trays. So 2.2, 2.4 kilograms of dough, 1.2 each of the tray. But it depends on the item and how much intense you want to give to the focaccia in this case. So it's just a quick example. For what regards the proving, best way to prove dry or fresh yeast is in between 30 to 32 degrees. Of course, 35 is good. 36, 37 is still okay, but with fresh yeast, we are still like on the edge, because I would say when you go over 38, you accelerate too much and the proofing doesn't go correctly. So bread making is a taking time procedure. So you need to be relaxed, have the right amount of time and the correct technologies involved for the bread making.
It's true. Yeah. Patient is always a secret with the doughs. I have a question. Someone asks, what is the exact model of the appliances, planetary mixer and blast chiller?
So I would say that according to regular quantities, and for regular quantities, I mean 2, 3, 4 trays at the same time. So let's say 50 cover restaurant, 60 cover restaurant. So we are not going into hundreds of people to feed. A BE10, so BE like Belgium and E as in Egypt and 10, that means 10 liters, would be the right solution for what regards our planetary mixers. 10 liters, so BE10 versus BE5, BE8 means how many liters can contain the bowl. Just for you to understand, the quantity suggested by the company is half of the liters. What does it mean? The BE10 that contains 10 liter of volume. So if you can like fill it up with water, you achieve 10 liters of water, is good for needing maximum 5 to 6 kilograms of dough. So just calculate in case you know how much bread you prepare per day and you want to understand which one is the best one for you. Just start from how much dough you would prepare per day. So if myself, I'm preparing 5 kilograms per day, a B10 would perfect. If I prepare 10 to 15, a BE25 would be much better. That actually changed the name, but is XB. But anyway, the amount related to the model is half of the number indicated. So if you are preparing 5 kilograms per day, of course, XB10 would be the best one. For the oven, Skyline Premium S and Skyline Chill S, that are the top level ovens we have in the range of Skyline. And together with them, we can have the advantage of Sky Duo, so the connectivity in between the two appliances.
Okay. I think we're in the end. We are going on our last minutes. As usual, I wanted to thank you and to emphasize that it's a real pleasure to share this content with our chefs. Thank you always to be so dedicated to the discussion, to respond to our questions live.
Yep.
And thank you for your dedication.
It's a pleasure for me. Of course, in the next couple of minutes, I will answer to the leftover questions I got. In the meantime, for all the participants, I'm going to share a couple of infos. So as we all know, we are living, let's say, a daily situation of living together with the socials. So don't forget to follow us on the socials, myself personally, but of course also the socials of the company. Together with Electrolux Professional, we are daily, weekly, adding new recipes, new explanation of the technologies, new videos, new contents, both in Instagram and in Facebook. In the message that I'm gonna send you, you have all the different details. In case you need any special assistance, please count on us. I want to take the opportunity also to thank you really a lot. Because of the fact that thanks to our chef, we got the possibility to showcase all of our expertise, knowledge, and some of the technologies that we are proposing to our customers. Don't forget that on the technology, we put a lot of effort, and at the same time, the chef can be helped by the technology. So think about technology as an extra help, as a best friend of yourself in the kitchen, because it's the purpose of our production and of our way of conducting demos and explaining things. If you have any other questions, if you need to open up a restaurant, if you need to change some appliances, or simply just have some information related to recipe, count on us, count on myself, on our socials. You can find us every day or on our email for more technical stuff.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Guys, if you want to get in contact in Instagram, Paolo Pettenuzzo, follow him. I follow him. He follows me. We're always in contact. See you.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, we'll have the 7th episode next year, the 8th. We will be launching the event calendar later this year. Enjoy.
Oh, one thing. In the next couple of days, you will see also the result of this. So let's stay and look up at our Electrolux Professional socials. You will see how it goes.
Yes, curious. Let's
Thanks
keep
a lot.
it.
Thank you very much, Worship.
Goodbye.
Ciao. Bye-bye.